Welcome to this SCOMIS bite-sized recording of using Microsoft 365 collaborating with pupils. In this recording I will be demonstrating the use of Teams within Microsoft 365 for education from a teacher's perspective, including creating class teams, sharing resources, setting and grading assignments, and giving feedback to pupils. So the first thing I'm going to do is to sign in to 365 for Education online using a web browser. So once I've started my web browser, I can then navigate to office.com and click on the sign in option in the top right hand corner. It will then ask me for my school username, which is going to be the same as my email address. I'm just signing in with a test teacher account. And then you should see that it redirects you to your school's own sign-in page. So you should recognize the school logo in the background, and it's then going to ask me to pop in my password. And that's me then signed into 365, and I can see my Office 365 ribbon down the left-hand side with all my familiar web apps. So I now want to create a class team in 365. Quite often these are pre-populated using information stored in your school's MIS. And to access them, you click on the Teams app in your ribbon. But with this particular test account, I haven't actually got any teams that have been pre-created. So as a teacher, I've got an option to join or create a team. And in this case, I'm going to create a class team. And then it's a good idea to give it a descriptive name. Normally you might give it the name of the subject and the teacher's name, but in this case, I'm just going to call it my class. And then the next step is to actually add some students to join the class. So I'm going to add these students into my class, and if I wanted to, I could add additional co-teachers. And that's my team created. And if I want to edit a class team at a later date, all I have to do is go into Teams and then choose the team that I want to edit. So in this case, here's the My Class team I created earlier. And if I wanted to, I could change the avatar. And I could also manage the team membership. So for example, I could add or remove students or add or remove additional teachers. And then if I go back to the general area of my class, you can see I've got all these streams along the top. So posts are where student and teacher conversations for my class are shown. Files are the area where I can upload resources for my students. Class notebooks are where the student portfolios and class notebooks can be set up. Assignments are the area where I can push out assignments for my students to complete. And grades is where the teacher can see the grade book. Students won't see the grades option, but a teacher can have a grade book showing all the marks for all the assignments that have been pushed out to students. So the next thing I'm going to do is just create an assignment which I can push out to my students later in Teams. And I'm going to go to OneDrive, which is my cloud storage space, and I could upload documents I've already got stored on my computer, or I could create a new document from scratch. And that's actually what I've done. I've just very quickly knocked up an activity worksheet, which is a series of maths questions. And as you can see, that's been saved into my work OneDrive. So I'm now going to push an assignment out to one of my classes. So I'm going to select my example class, make sure I've got the general channel selected, and go to the assignment stream. This is the first time I'm creating an assignment for this class, and I've got a choice of creating a new assignment, creating a quiz, or reusing and repurposing an assignment that I've created for another class. But I'm going to create my own fresh assignment. And the first thing I've got to do is to give the assignment a descriptive title. And then if I want, I can also add some instructions for the students, and I can then add a resource. Now in this case, I'm actually going to add the maths quiz that I created earlier and saved into OneDrive. So I can attach that rather like an email attachment. And by default, students can't edit. It's a read-only document. But if I click on the doing dots, I can change the status so that students can edit their own copy. And what this means is that when the students open this worksheet, it creates their own individual copy that they can work on. The other thing I can do is actually score it or grade it out of a number of points. I think there are 7 questions in my quiz, so I'm going to grade this out of 7. And I can then assign it to multiple classes. I'm just going to assign it to all students in this particular class, but I could differentiate and select different students for different assignments. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a due date. So I'm going to make it Friday at midnight. And the other thing I'm also going to do, that's the date by which I want the students to hand it in, but I'm actually also going to give them another couple of days grace. So I'm going to give them until the end of play on the Sunday. So I'm going to give them 2 days grace. After that date, students won't be able to turn work back in. And then the final thing I've got to do is just to assign that assignment to those students in my class. So as a teacher, I'm just going to sign in and see if any of those students in my class have handed their assignments in. And to do that, I'm going to go to Teams, click on the class I want to look at, and then click on the assignment stream. And I can then see a list of all the assignments that I've set to that class. And you can see this maths quiz has been completed by one of the 2 students on my class. And I can click on that for more information. And I can see student 1 has handed their work in and student 2 is yet to hand their work in. And if I drill down into student 1, I can actually see the activity worksheet that they completed on screen. But I could also see any other resources or documents that they've uploaded with that assignment. So in this example, we also pretended that they printed a copy out and it was uploaded as a photograph. And you can see if I click on that as a teacher, then that photograph loads up. So I'm just going to quickly mark this maths quiz, and I can actually see they've got 6 out of 7 questions correct. And I can also give them some feedback. So I can say, well done. So you can never have too many cats. And then I can return that back to the student. So I've now marked and returned this student's work. If I had a whole batch of work to mark, then I could actually select from the different students and they would show bold if the student had returned the work back, or I could use the advanced buttons to mark one student after the other. And I'm then going to close out of this screen, and you can see I've now got a list in my assignments of students who've returned the work and also students who are yet to return their work. So as a teacher, it now shows me in the assignment stream that everything's been marked, and I can see that everyone's returned my maths quiz assignment. And if I go up to the grade stream as a teacher, I can actually see my class gradebook, which shows all the assignments as columns along the top and rows showing all my students going down and the marks that they got in that particular assignment. And I can also open up the student work from there if I want to remind myself of the work that they did. And I can also export all of this information to an Excel spreadsheet. And don't forget, it's very important to sign out of 365 after you've finished using it for the day. So I'm going to click on my profile and click on sign out. And this now brings me to the end of this recording. Thank you for listening. For further help or advice, please do not hesitate to contact SCOMIS on 01392 385300. Thank you.